The Daily Dribble.
I'm super stoked to be back. The Aussie cover, we are here.
Bro, get under the covers. This is what I'm about. Fucking, we're
Under
getting
the covers.
under the covers. We're about it, all right?
I tell you what, that might be the new, I guess in conjunction with Praise B, that is the new hashtag, I reckon, under the covers.
Well, I couldn't put "come together" spelled C-U-M.
You
So
could have, but you're a coward.
I am a coward. I'm trying to teeter the line.
3 weeks ago would have done it.
Yeah, I would have. I'm trying to teeter because we're starting to dabble in the corporate world, and I'm trying to teeter on like the PG to M kind of rating rather than just being like MAR.
You know what always has that? What? Porn. And that's R-rated as fuck. Just dig into it. You know what? Before every video has an ad, porn.
Yeah.
It's a porn ad. Like it's
a real grey area, isn't it?
It is obviously there.
This game will get you exploding.
You ever clicked on
never watched porn.
the game?
I don't know.
Well, it's awesome. I tell you what, like I've really enjoyed the last couple of weeks doing these NBL focused shows. So I thought I'd tee up with you, boy. I tell you what, you can't do that. I'm very envious. I don't have a beer right now.
Oh, beautiful, brother.
That's the beauty of doing in a pub, baby.
God's nectar.
Couple of Great Northern type days.
Well, no, as I said, like
the air's better up here.
What's that?
The air is better up here with the Great North.
Hey, we got some of the world's best air down here. So don't start coming at me with that. You can't do that early.
I don't know about that.
What happens when you got more trees than people? Fresh air.
Also, exactly.
Heads like it's easier to breathe when you've got two mouths. So.
You know what? I was just you beat me to it. I was about to give a self dig on myself. So
you kind of have to jump in front of it, don't you?
On the front foot, but yeah, no. As I was saying, lads, I was stoked to get you guys on. Chat a bit of ball. It's been a couple of weeks since we last spoke. I always love chewing it up with you guys. So I kind of just wanted to have a bit of a chat about the NBL thus far. Like, and it's going to be a real blasé, just chat about how you're enjoying it so far.
I honestly thought we were already doing the episode. Like, I thought you were ripping it.
You have a good host.
Like you have a fantastic host mode that you just fucking. And I was like, doesn't he usually like to play the intro before? Like, what's going on? Like, it helps with the editing.
Yeah, no, that's. I was kind of when we started talking to begin with, like, and you're on the live stream already. I was like,
oh, we can run. We can keep running. Like,
we're running with it now.
Get the headspace.
We're running hot and heavy.
I can get this. I like hearing the intro. I like hearing it.
You got your deck there. You ready to go, my friend?
Oh, righto.
Sorry to kill your mojo, baby.
Is that coming through? Yeah, it is. Yeah, boys are on.
Oh, boys are on.
Brethren unite.
Oh, we're coming together. We under the covers.
Under.
Matty B, Lach and Nick Zammit here. Look out. Boys, the energy's high, isn't it?
Oh, it's high. It's high and it's hot. I like in this studio that we're sitting in right now. I don't know about you, but I am sweating.
It's getting warm. They did have an AC that we complained about. They took out the AC. I wish we didn't complain. It's getting steamy in here, mate.
It's sweaty.
It looks kind of like that. Is that a mirror behind you, Matty?
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those like feature mirrors where it's kind of like, I don't know. It's not the greatest of quality.
See,
it looks a bit foggy.
It's a two-way mirror and that people are watching us on the other side.
Well, there's the detective scenes. Yeah. No, I'm with you. Well, like as I said, fellas, the NBL, I tell you what, it is in full swing. So I wanted to kind of chew your ears a little bit about it. I didn't want to delve into it this early, but your boys, the Sydney Kings.
Let's do it.
6-2 to start the season. Even first with the New Zealand Breakers, which is a surprise to, I reckon, everyone at the moment. But what are you thinking of the Kings thus far?
Kings are on. Kings are on. Locke said it 7 weeks ago. He said it after the first game. Xavier Cook's for MVP. Kings are on.
That's my big bet. And then I wish I put money on it on the first game because he came in so hard for MVP odds.
He did.
The value is just gone now.
Yeah. What was he paying to begin with? He would have been what? 5, 6 months?
Yeah, I think he was paying about $5.50. Yeah, he was probably touch under 7, and then he's come in hard now, and every game he's just closing.
Yeah. Well, it looked like through the first couple of games, Derek Walton Jr. was kind of gonna like he started like a house on fire. He's cooled down a little bit, still being phenomenal in his own right. But Cooks is the guy who's really stepped up thus far.
Well, I mean, we're hearing from a few people in the NBL, and I don't want to tread on too many toes here. So you tell me if I'm treading on too many toes. But
tread on the toes, mate. Crush him.
There's a little. Does he listen? Can I?
You can say.
I'll redact names. I'm being chill. So I've heard from a friend who's heard from a friend that Mr. Bolton Jr. may not be buying into the Sydney Kings system, and that's why he's maybe cooled off. So doesn't like to hang out with the team. He's just staying very Americanized. Whereas, you didn't see that last year with Jalen Adams. Jalen Adams, he bought in. He was MVP. He was about it.
Same with Ice as well. Like Clark, Ian Clark, they all stay in touch over social still now.
Yeah,
they all comment on stuff.
Is Jamarcus Green? He was playing for him, wasn't he?
No, that was
he's playing for the Warriors.
Yeah,
Jarrell Martin, he was out there.
Jarrell Martin, yeah. I always used to get them mixed up. I think it's because they both played for the Grizz there for a little bit.
Yeah,
like every time I see at the risk of sounding racist, they look the same. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. There's no sugarcoating that. But well, there you go. I tell you what, that's a juicy little bit of gossip.
Yeah. So being here in Sydney, the basketball capital of Australia, of course, we're heard a few things around the traps, and
we're finally tuned. All right, we know what we're about.
I saw a few photos of him today at media day, like the fan day, and a few members there doing this. Did not look very impressed.
Nah, I
saw a couple of selfies, giving the stone faced a little piece of pout, and that was about it. But yeah.
Well, let me pose this to you guys then. With that news and that revelation, as good as they've started, they've looked pretty electric thus far. That game over Cairns the other night, quite annoying with the three on the buzzer, that was phenomenal. But with this news of Walton there, what do you think your title odds are? Are you still running hot and heavy? Think you're running the yard?
I still think, yeah. I just think they've looked good so far, and I think that Walton's just a professional, isn't he? Like I don't think you necessarily always have to be best buds with the guys you play with. He's still turning up. He's still looking really good. Xavier Cooks has gone to another level, and a few of those other boys still kind of have another notch to go. So I think the rest of the team could improve around him too. Yeah.
Yeah, DJ's got a little bit to go still, and I mean we're seeing plenty out of Simon. I actually have this in my notes. Our boy Simon, like he's come back after his little stint overseas. Obviously previously played for the Hawks, but he's giving in less minutes. He's giving more points per game, less fouls, and less turnovers. And I mean Cooks is doing the same thing. That's why he's a great bid for MVP. But Justin Simon to come back and give you the exact same two-way defensive leadership. And be able to guard, the other team's best player, and then come down and hit a three if he needs to, or dunk it on some fools. Like his passing has been unreal this year, like absolutely
on to another level.
Yeah, and I think Jalen Galloway has a big step to make as well. Yes. Like he's shown some flashes already this year, but I think if they can get him cooking for the business end of the season,
well, him in that final lineup against Cairns the other night,
he looked really good. Yeah.
Cooks at the 5, Galloway just running around playing that forward role. Like he looked fucking fantastic.
I think that's the best fit for the Kings. I kind of liked it last year when they didn't play Martin a few times and Cooks was the 5, and it's like just have 5 out.
More dynamic.
Cooks can play center, and like if you come up against Brisbane, he might get cooked by Baines, but he'll cook Baines on the other end. And I trust our offense more than theirs, so I would just go for that.
They've been a big underachiever thus far. Like what are they sitting? They're sitting 9th, 2 and 5. I thought like they've been a little bit better over the course of the last week or so, getting a win there, a couple of wins against Illawarra and things of the kind. With the acquisitions of Bain, Tyler Johnson, Sobey, I thought was poised for a big year after a bit of a down year last season. They've started really slowly. Do you still have faith in them? Because I know there were a lot of pundits out there, their kind of darling team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can count a team out 6 rounds in. Like, I mean, we're going into round 6, right? So, if they start to get it together, which it looks like they are, and they just buy into being a 3-point team, and I mean, Lach and I have said this off air, if they just buy into jacking up as many shots as they can, like you list some of the shooters on the team, you got, Meth Curry, you got Aaron Baines, Sobey's in the corner, you got Jason Kadee, like they're just, the list goes on, and they've just got guys on guys on guys that can hit threes, and it's just, it's just something to marvel at. I mean, the way that, I mean, we all saw, and praise be onto the cover as always. We're under the covers right now, but you saw the highlight of Aaron Baines faking the hook shot and then kicking it out to Sobey in the corner. Like the more touches he gets in the paint and is able to distribute and play that Andrew Bogut Golden State role, that's when they unlock shit. And I mean, if you just let Meth Curry be your 18 to 25 point per game scorer every single game, then let him fucking cook. Let him do his thing.
Yeah, I think they need to play Aaron Baines as like a high post playmaker because those guards you listed, Kadee, Sobey, Meth Curry, like they're shooting guards first. I think point guards second. So I think having those guys play off ball, it'd kind of be like a really budget version of like Denver, where everything runs through Jokic, everyone's cutting, everyone's getting open, and then you have all the options in the world from that elbow.
Yeah, I agree. And like it's, as you said, we're still very early into the piece. Like there's with the talent they've got, no reason as to why, the Phoenix at the moment, they're on a 4-game win streak and they've jumped up to 3rd after being 8th the other week. With the talent Brisbane possess, there's no reason as to why they couldn't do a similar, go on a 3, 4, 5-game run and really kind of turn the tide in the standings. And I think that's kind of one of the most notable things I've noticed this season, apart from Illawarra at the moment, who are 1-7 and staring down the barrel of a pretty ordinary season. Every game looks close and interesting. Like picking a winner, often it's a coin flip.
Well, I think also if you look at it, like you got to look at the point differential, right? The point differential right now, the Brisbane Bullets, they're positive. And the 4 teams above them are less than them, right? So except for obviously except for Perth, everybody above them is less than them. They're obviously scoring at 100.85 a clip, and the next highest is 102.81 in the Perth Wildcats, and they're sitting comfortably in 5th right now. So if they can figure it out on the defensive end, and I mean, this is a thing that we can say about the Kings as well. I mean, the Kings have just been fucking amazing putting the ball in the basket. It's where the gold lives. If we're not getting a championship this year, I think it's a down year. That's my hot take there. But you got to look at it on that side of the ball, right? As soon as we start to like mesh as a team on the defensive end, as soon as Brisbane start to mesh as a team on the defensive end, watch out. Like honestly, I think watch out, because you can't accrue for that level of NBA talent. Like Aaron Baines, he's a good fucking basketball player. Like
he should probably still be in the NBA, right? Like
he's only, you see what Jock Landale's doing in Phoenix right now. Like he could do that exact same role. Like like, I love me some Jock Landale.
I love some Jock Landale.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's bowling at the minute.
Yeah, he is indeed. But like Meth Curry as well. Like the league, every basketball league, but like the NBA as well needs scorers. And this is a guy that even in the NBA could give you 35, 40.
Only a couple of years ago too, like at least he was like a bench piece.
Bro, he got like a 4-year, $85 million deal at one point from Miami. Like the guy can ball. Like he can put the ball in the fucking hoop. And now he's playing in Australia. Like what is doing?
Well, I tell you what, I'm just thinking about it, these teams and running through, and so far it's kind of been a year of surprises. And I wanted to pose this question to you guys, because undoubtedly the 2 biggest surprise teams have been the Cairns Taipans, my darling team this season. I've kind of made them my own Cleveland Cavaliers from last season, and the New Zealand Breakers. Now, off the back of their absolute demolition of the Jack Jumpers, I don't really want to talk about it too much, because that was a tough watch.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Couldn't hit the side of a goddamn barn door except for Milton Doyle.
You know what's worse about that loss is that New Zealand's social media game is so fucking strong right now. Like we posted it on our socials, and if you, I mean, you're not, shameless plug right here at 5th and Dribble, come and fucking find us. But the New Zealand Warriors last year for the rugby league, for those that are not adverse, down in Tasmania, you got 2 heads. You got 2 heads to watch. NRL.
Get the screens up, mate.
Yeah,
get twice as many views.
So the New Zealand Warriors and the Breakers, their social media teams.
I wonder if it's like the same outsourced like marketing.
Maybe. I mean, the Breakers. I mean, they're not the Vodafone Breakers. Like they've actually got like a
New Zealand.
They've got a New Zealand in the title. So it's.
But speaking of them being a surprise, I'm just
so them or Cairns, I guess, was the question I was going for. Which team surprised or impressed you more thus far?
My apologies.
No. Get after it, Tiger.
I think Kansas looked really good. Like Keanu Pinder has just taken this step that's kind of always been there.
Yep.
And against the Kings, they should count themselves very unlucky not to have walked away with a win on Saturday night.
Oh, DJ Hogg's 3 in AJ Cooks' face.
Yeah.
Like our jaws were on the floor. Like we were like, how the absolute fuck did he hit that?
That's one of those coach ones. Is like, no. Okay, yep, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
he's done that.
And
I thought for all money it was going to OT.
So
did we.
I think the Kings just got saved there by just a bad rotation on that inbound.
Oh, bro, Noy was about it. He got that birthday roll. Like it was just
I just don't think that ball was meant for Noy. But I mean,
no way.
if you're thinking Cairns have a chance, they're paying $41 currently to win it this year.
Are they really?
Which seems like a team coming fourth
as of right now.
Yeah,
that might be worth.
Wow. And I tell you what, they're doing it. As well without Tajir McCall. He started pretty slowly, a lot of sloppy turnovers, kind of. They almost, at the minute, look as if they're almost playing better ball without him. They look a little more controlled. But his talent's undeniable. So hopefully when he comes back into the fold after this injury layoff, kind of settles back into the squad and maybe has a little more trust in his teammates. I'm all for them.
Yeah, for sure. His herky-jerky reminds me a lot of Jamal Crawford, where, like, if McCall doesn't know what's going on, how's the defense going to know what's going on? I mean, you just got to keep on your toes the entire time. Like, it's beautiful. But in answer to your question, I actually think the Breakers are more the Cinderella story. Like, going into round 6 last year, guess these guys' record going into round 6. Like, I'll give you a guess. Going into round 6, they played 6 games. Guess
I reckon the Breakers had only won 1 game in the first, 6 rounds.
Nick?
Yeah, I would have said 1-5.
0-6.
Wow.
They had not won a game.
They were bad, but
they had not won a game. They've been like the joke of the league for quite a while. Yeah. I mean, like, and that's tough to say that they've been the joke of the league for a while. But call a spade a spade. The Kings were a joke for a while until we started to, wear that gold and where the gold lives and all that.
We've never been a joke down in Tassie.
Well, I mean, I guess you're one from one.
Don't get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah,
the nitty-gritty of how long or whatever. Just leave it at that.
Technicality.
Don't wreck a story with the truth or whatever. But yeah, like 0-6 going in last year, and then coming into round 6 this year, we've had 8 games played, and they're 6-2, and they're scoring at an efficient clip, and they're playing like fucking unbelievable defense, and they don't have the same NBA talent as what some of these other teams have, and it's like, where the fuck is this coming from?
And that's the thing that stood out to me, and I made note of it in my power rankings last week when talking about the Breakers. They're cobbling together enough points. They're doing enough. They were pretty impressive, putting up 94 against the Jack Jumpers yesterday. It's that defense, again, keeping the Jack Jumpers to 62. They've done it a couple of times this season, keeping teams 70 and under. And it's good to see they're really, it's kind of like not hot and cold. It's like yin and yang at the minute with them and Cairns.
Yeah.
Right? New Zealand hanging their hat on that defensive side, getting enough points together to cobble the wins, whereas Cairns are just, use the analogy, they're very kind of reminiscent of the Kings, the Sacramento Kings under Luke Walton.
Yeah.
Run and gun, high intensity. The defense leaves a little to be desired, but it's just a hell of a lot of fun to watch, putting up shots like they're going out of fashion. So it's fun seeing those kind of 2 contrasting styles at the minute going up against each other almost.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And it's just more on the King, not the Kings. As much as I love to talk about the King, more on the Breakers. Like, I have to get behind a team that rocks sky blue and pink. Like, fuck me. The jerseys are just
that they play in 3 weeks. Cairns and New Zealand up in Cairns.
That'd be a good game.
Friday the 25th of November. That is going to be. They could probably. That's what round 8. They'll probably have a couple more wins each by then, and
that's a huge weekend for us too. So we'll have to get on
we're going away. We'll have to figure out that one.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's good now that we've seen, it's not a 3 or 4 game sample size.
Yeah.
It's actually been enough that it looks like it's going to actually translate to success for the rest of the season. I wanted to tie that in with a point just for the fact that he wasn't yesterday, he didn't really play, but Rob Lowe has been a fantastic pickup for my fantasy team. How are you guys going with the NBL fantasy? We're all notorious NBA fantasy players. How's the NBL treating you?
Look, not great. The scoring system is different. We're not used to it.
It is different. Absolutely.
We did also draft 4 guys that didn't play for the first 4 games.
Yeah, so that was tough. We started really slow out the gates there.
Yeah, you're kind of playing behind the 8 ball there, aren't you? I just wanted to make note, It's a humble brag. We've got games tonight, but I currently sit 59 points ahead of you blokes.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, like it's been really good. Like I know a lot of people who are in leagues at the minute, they've found it a really good way to kind of ingrain themselves in the league and take notice of players, take notes of storylines. Do you feel like doing fantasy leagues actually kind of aids in your basketball experience?
Yeah, I think it does. We have a mate, friend of the show, Timmy. He was never into basketball. We got him into 2K and then into fantasy, and now he's like, he's all into the stats. He's this, he's that.
Kings, man. He's what he's about.
Yeah, he's in there. He turns straight into it, and I think that's a good way. But I think 2K is the best way. I know when I was really getting into it, probably 10 years, like really, really getting into it, 10 years ago. Getting deep into 2K was the easiest way. Like you learn players you never knew about. I fell in love with J.R. Smith. You just just guys that you find and you're like, man, I love this guy. And then that becomes your dude for like the next 10 years. It's unreal.
We've always had an affinity toward Terrence Ross because of like the way that he performs.
A few of those 2K goats like Courtney Lee, Terrence Ross, J.R. Smith, like those boys were just unbelievable.
I tell you what, JR at the rate he's going, he could be set to make his next video game appearance in Tiger Woods PGA.
That would be unbelievable, wouldn't it?
Another 2K game, another 2K game.
Touching on the 2K thing, I would love it if 2K did something like how, I know it's different because FIFA's the entire soccer kind of world, but if you could have the Australian League in there and you could play as the NBL, you remember that the Euro League baskets in there? So the Eurobasket teams.
Yeah.
If they could do the NBA, the NBL version in there, how good would that be? Like
100%. I reckon that's a brilliant idea, and someone needs to make it happen. How fun would it be if you could pit, Sydney Kings up against the Golden State Warriors and doing all these kind of.
I think that'd be tough. I think we might be in trouble on that one.
I reckon that could be a bit of a demoralizing loss, but just having something like that, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
someone needs to make it happen. Lach, I reckon, pitch the idea, mate.
You know what? I'll put the email together. I'll put all our names on the bottom and I'll send it out.
Yeah,
put your little finder's fee at the bottom.
It can't be that much to buy the rights like the video game. Like surely the NBL would be like, you can just take them, right? Like to be associated on that and have kids, like even if someone didn't take it seriously when playing as it, like some American kid playing, it's like they know the team, they know, like this player, he was on, like Derek Walton Jr., right, was in the NBA as pretty recently.
Yeah.
Or Derek Walton Jr. is on here, like, cool, how cool is this?
Yeah, that would be cool. And I think that might be a way for even NBA Live to make themselves relevant again in the basketball space, because, 2K's obviously saturated the market. I am a avid 2K player. Regardless of the game, if it changes or if it doesn't change, I'm still paying $89 every September, October to buy the game. I'm a sucker for it. It is what it is.
That's where
and I'll convince myself that it's changed as well. I'll be.
I do too.
Like, no, it's changed. I swear. Same fucking.
It's like an abusive partner, isn't it? You keep coming back for more. You can't.
Redact the fuck out of that. But, I honestly think it might be a way for NBL Live, because if you think about it, like if EA's just lost FIFA. They're going to need another flagship game. They've got Madden, obviously, but another flagship game and a way to make it in would be the similar style of pattern, as you said, to the world.
I think that'd be
every comp in it.
It would have been, if you're already paying for the rights for the NBA, Eurobasket rights, like NBL rights, the CBA in China, CBA.
CBA.
The CBA over in China. Like those big leagues that are probably, second, third, fourth, fifth tier leagues after the NBA. Surely it's not that, it's all just part of the cost, right? Like those ones would be cheaper combined than the NBA rights.
How much money 2K actually makes. It would be a huge change, I reckon. And hopefully it heads that way. Just, we saw a couple of weeks ago the news that we've now got an E-League team or something for Australia?
Yep. They had a competition down in Melbourne recently. I was talking about that on our show.
And the new NBA store opened in Sydney on Friday.
Oh, we got to go.
We do have to go check that out.
You might have to fly up for that, baby.
I was about to say there could be some damage done there.
Bro, definitely.
Might have to leave the cards at home.
Do it on a payday.
Yeah, your window shopping trip for that one.
Well, I know, like anecdotally, I spent 2 hours in the one in New York, and I barely scratched the surface. I was getting gifts for the boys as well, but I barely scratched the surface and spent 2 hours in there and didn't spend any of my own money. Shout out to the missus. I appreciate it.
Oh, really? I was about to say, how many zeros did you tack on to the end of it?
Yeah. I tell a lie. I think I pulled away one jersey myself before I went back the second time to get stuff for the boys. But she was like, "Oh, what was your birthday? Like, I didn't buy you much for your birthday. Let's, we'll get a couple of things in here and still wear the shorts and the jerseys and whatnot today." I was a bit bigger back then, so my Dwayne Wade jersey kind of swims on me now, but it is what it is.
The NBA shorts are unreal. I just wish they weren't so expensive.
Oh yeah.
I saw King shorts for sales and I was like $60 for shorts. Like, there's a lot. Like a little bit under 50, I would have walked out with them.
At that point, you're just finicking about $10.
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
I know. But
I'm with you, Lach. It's you gotta play it smart with your financials.
I know, keep it locked and loaded.
Savings, it takes 3 days to transfer.
Interest rates and all this other shit going on.
Yeah,
Safety first.
NFTs and whatnot, and you'll be laughing.
NFTs.
Get on the
NBL
and NFT.
Rabbit hole, that isn't it?
Yeah. Oh man, it's a rabbit hole. I mean,
what do you guys think of the like the top shots and those kind of like sporting collector pieces now?
I rate that a little bit harder than like stock bloody Microsoft
Paint.
Paint.
I must say I like that stuff more than just the random AI generated stuff, because I guess it holds more. That's more of like a sentimental value, right? Like if it's a team you like, a player you like. But even then, I'm just kind of like, it's for what it is. What are you doing? Like, I don't know. I just have a hard time wrapping my head around it, I think.
I think that's the thing. I think before you go into it, you got to do a bit of research, don't you, and actually comprehend what's going on.
Yeah.
There's so much different stuff now, isn't there? From like meme coins to NFTs to all this other stuff. Like it all becomes a bit of a whirlwind, doesn't it?
Where's the cover NFTs? That's what I want to know. Shout out Liam. We're getting on get on the cover NFTs, my guy. Come on.
I will say, I wish sports cards were making a comeback. I know they did for a little bit, but they died pretty quick. But they're just so cool.
Yeah,
we're thinking about doing an unpacking episode every now and then, so you might have to jump on for that, my friend.
100%. It's something we've toyed with as well. I reckon it's that scene at the minute. It's crazy. Like the whole collectibles, like physical collectibles.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Like I feel like it kind of died down. I feel like it's ready to make a bit of a surge again, especially like you look at the NBA with some of the generational talents like Luka, Zion, our big mate Victor coming in soon. These characters who could be like all-time superstars, I reckon that might see a bit of an uptick in that scene. Yeah,
possibly. I wouldn't even be surprised if the NBA like starts to dabble in their own cards, like rather than outsourcing through like Tops and shit like that. Because what they're doing currently with their own TV rights and NBA TV, and it looks like they're trying to kind of phase away from ESPN, and they've just revamped the app, and they're offering live coverages of all those Wembanyama matches and stuff like that. So, this could be their next progression. They're currently preaching like content is king. I think they just like killed all of their social media team and then just got a whole bunch of millennials in there and were like, hey, deal with it.
Did you see that they're going to broadcast Victor's games? All of Victor's games on ESPN? Yeah. That's like some fucking French team. Like they're just going to play all his...
The Metropolitan 92s or something?
Yeah, the Metropolitan. Yeah, imagine they just played all the Hawks games while LaMelo was there. Like every Hawks game on ESPN. Like, it's just insane.
He's going to be a freak though.
Like,
I tell you what, we were up in Queensland a couple of weeks ago, and Ro and I were watching the matchup between the Metropolitan 92s and the G League Ignite team.
Yep.
And seeing him and Scoot Henderson go up against each other was like, oh shit. Like, these guys.
Scoot's got a lot about him as well. Scoot's got some fucking.
I just hope OKC don't get either of them. They don't fucking deserve. Just like
don't deserve them.
Don't deserve them.
Yeah, fuck OKC. Fuck OKC. They've just beaten down my Clippers twice in a week. Fuck OKC. OKC can go fuck themselves. No, got Chet Holmgren coming back. Fuck OKC.
I don't know, man. Like, I get what they're doing. Like, get as many assets as you can, but I reckon what they're doing is just as fucking bad as the process Sixers.
You reckon?
Yeah, I reckon.
Like it.
I mean, I didn't mind the process Sixers. I thought they copped a lot of heat, but it's like everyone can't give them heat and then not give OKC heat. It's like they're shutting guys down for a year. Like Shea's always finding some end of the year. Oh, I'm fucking injured. Josh went down for a bit the end of last year. They're just people like them more, so they give them way more leeway.
It's everything to do with public perception, isn't it?
If you like
it, it's a job well done. If you don't like them, it's
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's like, man, they're doing such a good fucking job here. And it's like, yeah, well, they're just doing what the Sixers did, except they draft way better than the Sixers did.
Yeah,
do a hell of a lot better.
Well, actually, the Sixers drafted well. They just gave the picks to other teams.
Yeah,
So there's the problem.
I don't know. Like, it is weird to think out of all that they got one guy out of those high picks that they kept.
Yeah, I honestly cannot fathom. Could you imagine if like Simo obviously was still there, Jason Tatum was there, man,
who else was in that Okafor draft? Who could they have gotten for the?
Great question.
There you go. Matty's on it, are you, Matty?
Yeah, we've got no Sherpa. We're Sherpa-less today, so we're doing our own Sherpa. And
2015, like Jabari Parker, Nerlens Noel.
yeah, but after anyone kind of in and around there.
Yeah, there was some good 2015 players, man.
He could have had my man, Croatian Kobe, Mario Hezonja. Mario Hezonja. I mean,
they legitimately though could have had like Devin Booker.
Yeah, I was gonna say Devin Booker's the big standout there. Anyone else you kind of think was a bit of a reach? Maybe Miles Turner.
Shout out our boy Jarrell Martin. He was in this draft as well.
Maybe Justice Winslow turns out different if he's playing with those guys. I don't know. Willie Cauley-Stein I always liked. Kristaps, maybe he doesn't get injured. He's with like Twin Towers.
At this point,
Norman Powell, isn't it? It's kind of like the butterfly effect.
Yeah, this is such a weird draft. Like it's so like the top 3 picks are Cat, D'Lo, Okafor, and then it kind of goes off a bit of a cliff thereafter. And then you've randomly got Devin Booker at 13.
Shout out to Jahlil Okafor. There you go. A guy not spoken about enough.
Okafor was one of the
that was a goat one.
Best
for Okafor.
One of the best
hashtags. You guys remember this draft is insane. Emmanuel Mudiay, you remember that dude?
Yeah,
bro.
New York Knicks star.
He's still out doing
he plays in China.
Stanley Johnson. You know who else plays in China who signed the other day? Eric Bledsoe.
I saw
another show favorite, Eric Bledsoe.
That was weird.
Didn't he what was the deal there? Didn't he get like pinged for something as well and then signed? Like he got done for
No, he got pinged the day after. I did see that. I think he got done for domestic abuse, possibly. Allegedly. He got done for something the day after the China news came out.
Eric, come on.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah, Kevon, four-time champion Kevon Looney.
Yeah, same with Bo Cruz, Willie Hernangomez. It's always fucking Juancho. Why do I always do that? I always think it's Willie. I always think it's Willie.
It's the other Hernangomez.
Bo. I reckon like it's I've had mates like that in the past where their nick. I was talking about it with someone the other day, and his nickname just stuck so well to the point that we actually no one actually knows his proper first name.
Oh yeah, we had a guy like that in high school, Gingy.
Gingy.
I didn't know Gingy's name until like the 9th grade. And then this guy for 2 years, and they were like, "Oh, go and get James. He'll do something." I'm like, "Who the fuck is James?"
That's like us.
Shout out Gingy.
I feel
like nicknames aren't as good as they used to be.
Nah, they're nowhere near.
I think in culture,
everyone's too sensitive with them now.
Even like Magic Johnson coming around now. He'd just be like Irving, and then they'd sometimes call him Magic. Whereas he just like fucking straight up drop the first name. Like there would be a massive percentage of people that don't know his first name.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
That's I will say the GOAT nickname. I was listening to, and this is not NBA, I was listening to an NRL podcast. I'm talking about a former like administrator in the game. Dick Tosser Turner was his name. Dick Turner was his name. Tosser was his nickname.
Shout out Tosser.
Dick Tosser Turner. I was like, that is the GOAT nickname. Like,
no one's going to forget that anytime soon, are they? That's priceless.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to pose to you guys then, because I suppose we've kind of gone on that way, like from the NBL to the NBA. We've kind of segued quite nicely through various different rabbit holes.
That's what we do, baby. You know, we're segue kings.
You know, Matty's a segue king.
I love it. I love it. The holes you find yourself in. What have you been your big couple of takeaways from the first couple of weeks of the NBA season?
Oh, do you want hot takes or you just want big takeaways? Because, you know, what's not a hot take, but is a big takeaway is the Lakers fucking suck. We hate I hate the Lakers. I've always hated the Lakers, but the Lakers suck. That's
looks like such a prick saying that with their jersey on.
Oh no, I'm a bit of Shaq. I'm representing Shaq. If you tune into the live stream at Fifth and Dribble on YouTube, you know, I'm rocking Shaq. That's what I'm about. Okay. I'm a big man. I do big man things. Okay. So I got to rock the big man things. Look, the Lakers suck. A take that I heard today that I'm 100% backing. I'm not giving up on the Kings. Kings.
I heard this take too. Was that on
the old mismatch?
On the mismatch, yep.
Yeah.
KOC.
Yeah. Look, if they start to figure out that, it's a bit like our Kings back at home, man. They start to figure out their defense. They
hoopers there.
Yeah, they've gotten into some shooting battles, and those guys can shoot. Like the Red Mamba, he's out there. Kevin Huerta, headband Huerta. Darren Fox is just fucking playing unbelievable.
Taking it to another level.
Sabonis, you know exactly what you're gonna get from him every single fucking night. So, I mean, and like Malik Monk's been all right. Like there's low lows at Sacramento. Don't get me wrong, but there could be some high highs there, and
I agree.
They're kind of moving into that like median age of 26, 27, that a group that could all, if they all buy in, they could all really grow together. And you could see, I don't know, maybe like another rendition of like the Phoenix Suns. Like before Chris Paul got there, they were just a bunch of like mid 20-year-olds that didn't know what the fuck they were doing. And then they got like an actual veteran presence. Exactly. And they all put it together. Their wings are long. But I mean, I know Lach right now, he's chomping at the bit to talk about his New Orleans Pelicans. He's been on them 50 plus wins. He's about it.
How good are they?
He's licking his lips.
Good. We are all in on Zion from one fat boy to another, killing a big dog. Like we are absolutely and without him as well. They're so deep. Like without their two best players, they still got CJ McCollum. Yeah. Without CJ McCollum, they've still got like Brandon Ingram. You know what I mean? Like they can afford to have two guys sit out, and they're running a lot of points Zion.
Oh, heaps.
Like this, I love that teams are finally just kind of being like, fuck it. They have this really good big guy. Give him the ball. He's not quite big enough to be a center. We'll give him the ball. Everyone else just do your shit around him. Like it's not really that hard, right? Like I would have been pissed off if they played like Steven Adams next to him always at center. Just let him be like. You have so much offensive firepower.
How good's JV been?
Just go for it, man.
Yeah,
JV's been good.
Fucking lights out.
And he's such a good center for Zion too, because he can just get out of the way.
Exactly.
He just moves out of the way, and then when Zion's like, I need a breather, go for 30, bro.
Yeah.
It's scary that, like, as you were just saying, their depth, like, you know, your 10-man roster wins your games during the regular season, 10, 11 men, whatever the case may be. When it tightens up in the playoffs and you're dropping to an 8-guy rotation, their top-tier talent, that top 8 guys, holy shit, that's as good as any in the league.
Oh, unbelievable. And I mean, you got young guys just coming through, like, and no names coming through that you just I forgot Garrett Temple was on that team. Trey Murphy the third.
Vontae Graham.
Jose Alvarado. And I thought he would kind of fall off after kind of shocking everybody. He's really good again this year.
Herb Jones has been out as well, and he's like
to Aussie boy Dyson Daniels as well.
Daniels, like, it's just like they
go 12, 13 deep, I reckon.
They're unbelievable. Jackson Hayes is their worst player, and he's like still
like if he's on the floor, you kind of like
start for the Lakers.
Yeah,
he definitely could start for the Lakers, man. Yeah. Especially with Thomas Bryant down right now, he could definitely start for the Lakers. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Another great. Before I let you go, Nick, is
no.
I'm loving the minutes that Christian Wood has given to these Dallas Mavericks. I mean, they had another fantastic game today. I turned to a mate. We turned on the last 10 minutes of that game because it was at lunchtime as well. Turned to a mate and I was like, Luka's got 44. We might see the first 50 piece right now. We might be seeing, 2022 history right here. Yep. Nah, he ended with 46. but they, I can't remember who they were. Who are they playing today? Nick,
who they played today? They played the. Who did they play? Holy shit!
They played the Clips. Nah, they didn't play the Clips. Pelly played the Clips today, and Zion had 21 and 12. Fucking made me want to cry.
No, sorry.
They played the Magic.
The Magic, yeah. I knew it was a team that like they didn't really need to worry about, but the Magic came on hard at the end. Like Paolo Banchero, like they Franz Wagner as well. Like I mean, we were high on Franz coming in, as most people were, but he's got that dog in him. So
do you like Wood coming off the bench?
I love it. I love Wood coming off the bench. I think he's just such a dynamic player with KP. What do you think, Locke? You like Wood coming off the bench?
I just needs more minutes. I don't really care if he come off the bench. I don't really care if he come out the car park. Like you got to play more than what's he playing? Like 27,
23 and a half today.
I think he will. It's helpful having him play like opposite, like kind of offset Luka. To have some scoring when he's not on the floor. But I want to see him play more minutes. I don't care if he comes off the bench. Like guys come off the bench now and play 35 minutes. Yeah. Like that's fine. Have him come out there. But he's been great. I mean, speaking of like Mavs, like Jalen Brunson, man, like looking at him, that'd be hard to watch as a Mavs fan, wouldn't it? Like he's been unreal for the Knicks.
I tell you what, if they could have somehow kept him with that acquisition of Wood,
I know.
it's
They would legit be title. They would be title contenders, I reckon, if they'd kept Brunson and got Wood too.
It's a funny one. It feels like it really like for as good as Wood is, Dinwiddie, Bullock, Finney Smith, it's the Luka show. Undoubtedly 43 today, 5 assists. He's had an absolute ripper of a start to the season, but like everything hinges on him. It feels like if he were to go down, whereas last season Brunson was able to carry a bit of that load, it doesn't look like they have that guy this time around. Like
I will go to the grave defending Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie can be that guy. I really think he can be that guy. Tim Hardaway Jr. showed you today that he can still shoot the fucking rock lights out the building. He had a couple of threes today that I was like, what?
He was good today.
Fuck is going on?
Criminally underrated.
Criminally, yeah. So, he gets paid for a reason. Like the man can take it off the bench, he can pull up, he can hit threes. So they don't have Jalen Brunson. I get that, but I think that they got better and deeper getting a Spencer Dinwiddie, Christian Wood, and Davis Bertans, the Latvian Lazar.
When's he gonna do that laser thing? But I don't think they're that deep. Like looking at it, like that Luka, you kind of go to a Spencer, THJ, Bullock, DFS, McGee or Wood kind of lineup.
That still wins you games.
I guess it does, but then your bench is like their backup point guard is Campazzo.
Yeah,
Facundo.
And then Frankie Smokes. Backup, like after Tim Hardaway, your backup shooting guards are like Josh Green and Leo Pinson. They're actually pretty stacked at like big man-ish, where you kind of got like DFS for the power forward, JaVale, Kleber, Wood, and Powell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think, I don't know, they're probably one guy away like somewhere, I reckon. I don't know where.
Yeah, they're one guy off. I'll throw this question then to you guys. I've got 3 teams here. I want you to tell me which team's been most disappointing so far. Actually, I'll go 4 teams.
Oh, here we go.
Even though they've been a little bit better of late. I'll say Philly.
Mm-hmm.
They're 3-4 start. The Brooklyn Nets, 1-5. The Clippers at 2-4. Or the Lakers at 1-5. Which team out of those four heavy hitters in the East and West, which team has disappointed you most so far? I know where it's going. Just say it then.
Without any bias, I'm gonna have to say the Brooklyn Nets. I think that like they came into this season, and I understand Ben hasn't played for 18 months, and this is not a Ben Simmons rant whatsoever because I love Ben and back Ben to the end of time. But I think they came into the season out of all those 4 teams. Joel's coming in with a hand issue that wasn't really talked about. I mean, yeah, it's been thrown around now because they've started shit. I get it. But, James Harden's bought in. They don't know how to run Tyrese Maxey. They've obviously got things to figure out.
Yep.
The Clippers are always going to have cloud cover with Kawhi and whatever the fuck is going on with his quad.
Oh,
Paul George.
The last 5 games.
Yeah, I know. Paul George is, doing Paul George things. We've got a deep enough team when those guys that you expect to be 4-12 are your 4-12 and not your 1-8. And the Lakers are the Lakers. Like they're going to turn it on when they need to turn it on. I get all of that. I still believe in their bench more than their bench last year. But the Brooklyn Nets have come in with a team that has the most continuity, except for Philly, out of those teams.
Yep.
They have a top 2 guy in the league in Kevin Durant. That granted can't do it all. His ashy knees, are going to give it up at some point. Kyrie Irving, who made arguably the biggest shot of the last 10 years, and it continues to like live it up every single night. Ben Simmons can be whatever he can, and they've got a bunch of like young talent as well. They've been the most disappointing to me. They have to be the most disappointing to me because they're getting towed up by teams that should not be towing them up, or they've got leads going into the end of games and then they just fucking fall apart. And they're like, I think in the 4th quarter right now they're like a minus fucking 9.5 or something.
Oh, it's disgusting. Their plus minus is
it's gross,
criminal.
It's terrible.
Before we get your take, Lach, for you, Matty, then what's your feel? Do they need to make a trade? Do they? Well, actually, I'll pose this to you. You can answer that one as well. But what now is your ceiling for them? Are they a playing team? Are they still a playoff team? Are they a
I think they're still a playoff team. The answer is Seth Curry, right? Yes. They need shooters. They're a lot like the Lakers in the sense that they need shooters, and their shooters are there, but their shooters are injured, right? If they get Seth Curry on one wing and they've got Kyrie on the other wing, or they get Seth Curry on one wing and they've got Patty Mills on the other wing. Like, you get a lot, like Seth Curry, let's not forget, is a top 3 shooter in this fucking league. Like, let's put some respect on the Curry name at the end of the day, right? So if they've got him out there, he's a viable threat, and they don't have to, they can't help off Ben. And if they help off Ben and then he's going to the hoop, he's doing his thing, right? So I think having he's an out and out dynamic scorer, having him there makes Kyrie, Patty's, Kevin's job just so much easier. You're not relying on, some of their lesser known forwards, the Kessler Edwardses of the world and stuff like that, trying to hit a shot for you. It's just shooters. It's just shooters at the end of the day. And like, Nash is a young coach and has no idea what the fuck he's doing. Like, I've got all the love in the world for Steve Nash. Don't like saying bad things about him, but he has no fucking idea what he's doing. Absolutely no idea.
Saw an interesting point today, actually, that a move for Miles Turner could be the piece, because they just in that big man spot, they've been rolling a little more with Ben at the 5, and it's looked better. But they just don't have any rim deterrent.
I think that's the key. I think they should go how New Orleans are doing it. Go him at 5 and just fucking, if they can't get Turner, go Simmons at 5 and just have all the offense around him. Just go there, and it's like just out. Like, you have Kevin Durant. And you have Kyrie, like, as much as going on with Kyrie at the moment, he can still score.
And can still cook.
And it's like, try and outscore us. Go on, I dare you. And some teams will keep up, right? But they're going to be like the Warriors, where you just need a 5, a 6, a 7 minute stretch, and they're pulled away, and you're like, fucking, they're up 22. How did that happen?
Yeah. And that's what we thought this whole Nets situation was going to be the last couple of seasons, when they got Harden and that big 3. It was like, oh shit, when these guys turn it on, as you said, like that couple of minute stretch could put most games to bed. Do you feel the same way, Lach, or did you have another?
I'm disappointed with the Nets, but I didn't have them as high up this year. I thought there'd be some teething issues. My disappointment is the team I thought were going to win it all this year.
He's eyeing me off. I knew he was going to fucking do it.
Clippers, man. It's so, I don't know. And I didn't pick them to win because I thought they'd be the most consistent and win a whole lot of like regular season games. I thought they'd save it for the playoffs and they'd turn up. And my whole thing with them is, when they're at full strength, there's not many teams that can match them. The problem is they're never at full strength. They're never at full strength. It's like, I get the quad injury, but what are we doing? And it's like, Paul George is only averaging 20 a game. Like, we need some more here regular season. And the West is going to be so tight this year. You need to beat OKC when you play them twice.
Championships aren't won in October.
You need to beat New Orleans, but they're lost in October. They're not won in October, but they're lost.
I don't think they're lost.
You need to be doing more against it. Like, to get, I don't know if you'd call the Phoenix loss a blowout. Maybe you would. Then to lose OKC twice, New Orleans took care of them. I don't know. You just need a bit more from them. I need to see more consistency. But thankfully for them, I don't think they need to add anything. No. I think they just need more time together. I don't think they need to make a trade.
They just need to be healthy. That's the one with Kawhi. If he's on the court, it's a game changer. But
clip this up, gentlemen. The Clippers are going to have the longest win streak in the NBA this season.
See, I just think he's not going to play more than 5 games in a row, is he?
But as soon as we start to get some continuity,
no, but he's not going to play more than 5 games in a row, though.
I think he's going to be in a bench role until the very end of the season. I think Kawhi is going to be in a bench role to the very end of the season. You're going to see a starting lineup that has like Norman Powell in there instead. And as soon as because those 5 guys will be out there. As soon as those 5 guys are out there and getting continuity, your other bench guys, your Luke Kennards, your other backups, your Robert Covingtons, they're gonna fall into place when time comes. So I'm thinking at the turn of the year, you're gonna see a rise, much like you saw with the Boston Celtics last year. Clippers are gonna go on a huge fucking win streak, and you're gonna eat your words.
I hope for their sake they have a better second half, and I think they will. Being an experienced team, that's probably where they'll peak, and they'll know when to peak at the right time. But I don't know. I need to see something while Kawhi's out. No one stood up. Paul George last year did a really good job of like, Kawhi's out. This is my team. I'll take care of it. And then when Kawhi's back, he can have it. He hasn't made that step this year. I'm just waiting I know it's only 6-7 games, whatever it is. There's just John Wall's been really good. Zubac I've liked. I don't know. I need to see a bit more. I just think without Kawhi, they're really in trouble in this stacked West. Like you need to win every game you can.
I tend to agree a bit with both of you. I think for you, Matty, I still think when it all comes together, they are probably one of, if not the favourite. But with that, such a big grey cloud hanging over Kawhi, I need to see that he can actually play games. Yeah. If he's in a 7-game series, is he playing every game if he needs to?
Their ceiling to floor is massive. Like, as you said, yeah, I think their ceiling, that's why I picked him to win. I think there's not many teams they're kind of like Boston with those 2 wings on steroids. Those, like Kawhi and Paul George are, best case scenarios for Tatum and Brown, right? Like they are that team's perfect ending.
Yeah.
And they just can't get together yet. That's my thing. And Kawhi, like everyone's always like, Kawhi will get it together. Kawhi will get it together. And I said the same thing last year, but he just hasn't gotten it together. I need to see it.
He'll get it together. You got to back the boy. Back the boy. Always back the boy.
I agree with you, Matty. I'm going to say the Nets as well. For the Lakers, it was looking pretty grim, and it's still not looking great. But they've done it. Thomas Bryant out, Dennis Schroeder out, Juan Toscano-Anderson out today. I think the move of Russ to the bench needed to happen at the start of the season, and I thought all reports heading in, Ham was going to make that move. I'm hoping, and I think this could be a bit of a catalyst to get the ball rolling. I think Anthony Davis needs to have a cup of concrete and shut the fuck up and just get on with it.
Bro, did you see him grab his back today?
It's ridiculous.
Tell you what,
called for the sub, and then he called him off, and then he called for the sub again. I was like, mate, what the fuck? Do you want to come out or do you want to fucking play? Like,
I'm ready to get rid of him before us.
Wow.
Oh. Yeah. Because if we keep Russ on that bench role, there's my hot take. Get rid of AD first.
What are you getting for AD these days though? Like,
if Gobert got you 5 first-round picks, he should get you a dozen.
Well,
I tell you what, I'd
arguably Gobert better than
back,
but he's not.
Up for him.
Would you take 75 cents on the dollar for him?
I think, to be honest, at the minute, I probably would. The way he's going, and just that, it's kind of like the Kawhi situation. In a perfect world, when everyone's healthy and looking good, you can see, a guy who just runs absolutely roughshod over the league. The fact is, he hasn't shown it in so long now, and he's meant to be the guy. He was meant to have surpassed LeBron as that number 1 guy a couple of seasons.
I was going to say, that's the concerning bit, right? The whole thing was, don't worry about LeBron declining because AD is going to handle this franchise for the next 10 years. And you're like, he can't handle it for the next 10 games. Like, this is not great. To me, that's the concerning bit where it's like, he's meant to be your next franchise guy. That's why he traded picks. That's why he didn't care about the future. And he doesn't look like he's going to be that guy anymore.
Now New Orleans is sitting over there having a nice little...
Bro, imagine they get like Scoot Henderson or Victor or some shit. Like,
my
God.
That would be so sick. It'd be so sick.
I saw an article today that they can let the Lakers have their pick and just take it next year. How funny would it be if they hold a press conference, they're like, look, we're bad for the Lakers, we love LeBron, we're going to give you your pick. Not. That's the entire press conference. They just called it just to do that.
They need to do it the night before the Lakers play Pelicans.
Yeah.
Really, I tell you what, the ticket price
like a reverse. I'm going to South Beach kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, before we end up, lads, let me end with this question to you both. After what you've seen over the course of the last couple of weeks now, what is going to be the NBA Finals matchup? Who are the 2 teams and who have you got? Have you changed your tune at all over the course of the last couple of weeks?
I have a little bit because I had the Clippers to win it all.
Oh,
and
don't say that.
I had it to win it all. And that's why it's been so disappointing to me. Got such high hopes. And as I said, look, like if they all get healthy and they all play the last 30, 40 games of the season, then I'm going to look silly. But in the West, it'd be hard to go past a team. I know the Warriors have struggled a little bit. They've looked good.
They lost to Detroit today.
They did lose to Detroit.
Gave it to them.
That was strange. But I mean, I think I don't trust the Suns. The Blazers are still coming first. Don't trust them. Spurs and Jazz will drop down. I'm going to go Warriors just for the safe bet. I'm going to go Warriors Bucks, I think.
Nick, where are you going, my guy? Where are you? Okay, I think the Bucks just look so good at the moment. Like Giannis doesn't even really look like he's got out of first gear, which is scary. And the way his game's coming along, part of me, I don't think I can buy into the Celtics enough. I would say the Bucks and probably. I'm tempted to say the Warriors. Nah, stuff it. I'll say the Bucks and Pelicans.
Oh, that would be unbelievable. Zion Giannis would be amazing.
First you want to trade AD, and now you reckon the Pelicans are going to make it all the way. Damn.
Just because I was going to say the Warriors as well. And, granted, it's early in the piece. They've looked a little bit shaky. But I just think with that top-tier talent that the Pelicans have, when push comes to shove and they tighten that rotation, what JV is producing, McCollum, Ingram, Zion, Herb Jones, that starting five in itself is going to be really tough to contend with.
I think they're a bad matchup for the Warriors.
I think
because in the Warriors will have a hard time defending him.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's going to match up on Zion?
Like he's going to do that. You could say that about every team, right? But it's like put Draymond on him. I think he's too strong for Draymond.
Oh, he is.
You put Wiseman or Looney on him. He's way too quick and athletic for them.
Yep.
What do you do with him? Like they have Herb Jones, who you could stick on Curry and hope for the best there. Curry's probably going to torch you another way.
You live with him at getting 35.
Yeah.
If you lock down on everyone else.
Yeah.
So you say, right, he makes his shots fair play, but are the rest of you guys going to get 70, 80 points on it?
I mean, at least the Warriors have like Andrew Wiggins they can throw on someone to defend. But if he defends Ingram, that's fine. We've still got CJ. We've got JV who defends him. Like, do you know what I mean? I think they're a big mismatch for the Warriors.
And I tell you what, I would be hyped for that matchup too, Bucks and
That
Pelicans.
would be good. Yeah, that would be a good one, especially if it was Warriors, Pelicans, Western Conference Finals into that final. That would be good.
My only counter to that
What have you got, Matty?
My only counter to that is that, like, if you're going to talk injuries for the Clippers, you got to talk injuries for the Pellies too. Zion had a hip infection and like sat out for 3 games.
But other guys are stepping up around him. That's my thing. Where it's like, if Paul George is being the man scoring 25, leading them to victory, it's a different story. But he's struggling as well a little bit.
Okay, all right, whatever.
They're top tier talent.
Yeah, give it to you.
We've made him salty now. We shouldn't have.
You better come back hot then, Matty B. What have you got?
Don't be talking about. Look, I still think the Nuggets are gonna be real fucking good. I mean, Michael Porter Jr. was jacking some questionable fucking shit today.
I think that's gonna be his MO, isn't it?
I think it will be.
It's gonna be just what he does, I think.
I think it will be. And I mean, if you can get, and I've said this from the start, if you can get 80% out of him, you can get 80% out of Jamal Murray. Like the guys around him, like Bruce Bowen as a pickup has just been fucking unbelievable. The shit that he was chatting to LeBron the other day and getting under LeBron's skin. And like we forget, basketball's a mental game, right? Like our rec league, we talk the most shit than anybody else in the stadium, let alone our competition. So, the Nuggets are going to be huge. And I mean, I'm going to echo your boy sentiment. You can't go past the Bucks. You cannot go past the Bucks. I mean, Giannis said it best himself today in a press conference. I'm balling right now. He fucking is.
It looks like they're playing on easy. He's playing fucking my career. Like, it's unbelievable.
And the reason that he's able to be so free is you got Brook Lopez fucking standing next to him, getting 6 blocks a game. Yeah. Like, what the fuck is doing right now?
People keep driving into Brook Lopez like he will not send you home.
That's because for 10 years he didn't send you home. And then he learned how to play defense.
The other game, I can't remember what game it was. He had 4 or 5 blocks in a game.
It was the Nets game.
Yeah, it was the Nets game. Yeah, they just kept fucking running at him, and it's like he was like, okay. And he doesn't move his feet. He just stands still, and they run into him, and he sends you back packing.
Yeah, and the first person to grab the rebound, Giannis, and then it takes him 4 dribbles, and he's at the bloody cup, and he's given the 2 little signs.
The new no take foul thing has made him so fucking OP. You cannot stop him. Like
once he gets on the move.
What are you going to do? You have to let him throw it down, and that's your safest bet.
It's the same with John Morant. That's why John Morant's up around 34 points a game right now.
Yeah.
100%.
I'll tell you what, I reckon this is probably one of the most open, funnest seasons I can remember. Even only a couple of weeks in, it really feels quite up for grabs, which is exciting. Because even, I hate to say it, but shit hit the fan and the Lakers, their season goes belly up, I'm still going to be excited.
I don't know if you guys are even a play-in team at this point. Like it's looking pretty fucking tough out there.
I tell you what, we're going to touch
base.
That's
coming from a 2-5 Clippers.
Yeah, no, we're going to touch base in a couple of weeks' time. By which time we'll be 13-7. LeBron will be bowling.
A few weeks.
Yeah, yep. We're what are we? So that's a 12-2 run we're going on here.
Fuck me, 13-7, he reckons. Wow.
And you're gonna sit here and you're gonna listen to me.
I'll listen. I'll sit here like a good little schoolboy and I'll listen. Don't worry about it.
Absolute hell coming down range.
Good.
But I can also see a world in which we're like 2-16 as well. So
that no pick fucking hurts, doesn't it?
It hurts so much.
Like those, you don't realize, like people trade the picks and it turns out to be like a non-starter. Like when the Cavs had the Brooklyn pick, that was like 8th pick. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like it didn't really turn into much special, but yeah, not having the pick when you don't have it fucking sucks, man.
I'm pretty sure it's like heavily protected, like, or not heavily, sorry. It's like loosely protected, like top 4. So if they're actually that terrible, they get it back.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I don't think that they're going to waste a year on
I
a
think
block.
they're going to be. That's the problem, right? Like any other team would go, all right, back it up, like, and just try and tank to get that top 4 pick. But they're still going to want. Maybe LeBron's at a new point where he's like, fuck it, we need it. Like he's looking at AD, he's looking at Pat Bevan, Westbrook. He's like, can we get some other motherfucker in here? Just like anybody.
I'd rather the 19-year-olds.
Like, can we get a child in here, please? Like, just to help me out.
Ronnie, come put a jersey on.
Yeah,
Come on,
just anybody. Just
I would take him right now because he could be molded.
Of course you would. That's
Absolutely.
good. They need to revert that high school rule as quickly as possible so that Bronny can sign.
Do you reckon he's going to get both sons? Bryce is what, 2 years younger than Bronny?
Well, I mean, the way that he's going, he could play with both.
No reason why not.
That would be fucking like to
He's
play with
unreal.
both sons. I kind of want him to play against one. Yeah. And just like when they're scared, like just a random night, he's just like, I'm going to put 50 on you. 50.
Absolutely. He's going to be like 40 years old and he drops a 50 piece.
Like he would just do that, wouldn't he? And then he'd be like, oh, he defended me pretty well. Do this is like LeBron. He shot 22 from 23. Like, he did not defend you well.
I can just imagine, like, you came out of these nuts, now hold these nuts while I dunk on you. Like,
yeah, like he picks up Bryce to be like, I'm coming at you. He gets Bronny, gives him the other team's jersey. He goes, go help your fucking brother.
10-day, baby, 10-day contract.
Yeah, go play with them for a minute. He just fucking dunks on him. Like,
circle that, put in the calendar. Boost.
He would love that too. That would be like. You see it. Baseball's probably the only sport you really see it in, right? Like I think hockey's had 1 or 2, but like back in the day,
not real common.
Playing together,
you never. It's just the ages don't work out, right? Like LeBron's had the best longevity ever, and he's still just going to scrape in to get the one son, and he had a son at like 16.
Yeah,
you can't get any more. Like, he's doing the most, and he's still going to barely do it.
I'm all for it. I can't wait. I tell you what, he's going to shatter. If he goes another couple of years, he's going to shatter every record imaginable. Every record he hasn't already.
I can't stand all this stupid shit of like, is he really worth a mid-round first pick? Is he really worth a fucking late season? You're going to really waste a second on Bronny. Just fucking do it. Who cares? Like, what are you going to do? You're going to draft some fucking nobody that's going to be out of the league in a year. Draft Bronny. You've got, especially if you've got LeBron.
Yeah. You've got ticket sales as well then.
Just tickets. It's just a cool story, right? Like, at least no one's going to shit on your team as much as if you've got that subplot running it's ridiculous. Like,
Ronnie also has had like a really good arc over the last year. Like, he's turned into a much better player.
Yeah,
so, he could be legit. He's not going to be LeBron, but he could be legit.
Even if he's not legit, like how many second round picks, how many late first round picks are even fucking good?
True.
Like you just take him, you get a couple years out of it. Fuck it.
Looking at that fucking 2015 draft, Jahlil Okafor is not even in the league anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly right. We've come full circle.
Yeah. Fuck hell.
I got you. Don't worry about it. About the segues. I'm all about it.
Well, lads, I'll tell you what, I've had an absolute blast. I can't thank you guys enough for coming on. Before we wrap up, though, a big shout out to Mr. Liam McGrath, what do we want to call him? The cover.
He's our pillow. We're under the covers and he's our pillow.
He's our pillow. Absolutely. We're all for it. So, guys, check us all out. We're on everything to do with the cover. Check out the page. You can find ourselves, Matty B and Lach there with the Fifth and Dribble, myself, Liam Rowe with the Daily Dribble. We'll be sure to keep you guys up to date with everything NBA and NBL related. Fellas, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having us, my guy. Anytime. We love it.
Love coming on, mate.
Chop it up again soon.
Very, very soon. Very soon.
Praise be.
Praise be. Amen.
Amen.